Hi everyone, welcome to Relationship Radio. I'm joined today by Derrick, who's in Texas. Hi Derrick, nice
Hello.
to be spending some time with you today. So today we're going to find out a bit more about Derrick's story, about how he met his wife, how he found Marriage Helper, and hopefully you'll all enjoy hearing more about how some of our people like you find us.
This is Relationship Radio, an extension of Marriage Helper International, hosted by renowned marriage and relationship expert Dr. Joe Beam and CEO of Marriage Helper, Kimberly Beam Holmes. We answer your questions directly with research-based principles that you can implement immediately. Regardless of the situation, what we teach will not only make your relationships better, but will also help you to become the best version of yourself along the way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to turn on notifications. Turn up the volume and prepare to take notes as we begin this week's episode of Relationship Radio.
So Derrick, let's start off with how long you've been married.
We will be married for 5 years this July.
And where did you guys meet?
I was working at a coffee shop actually as a barista making coffee, and she was my regular customer.
And so what was it about her that attracted you, or what was it about you that attracted her, maybe?
Honestly, it was pretty instant when I saw her. I just thought she was beautiful. She's the type of person that, lights up a room. When she comes into the room, she just has that really, bubbly personality. And I could tell that right away, especially, when I first talked to her, her smile. And so yeah, it was that. And I just remember a certain time when she came in, she was actually going to school at the time. And I remember she was sitting outside. We had tables outside. I could see her out the window. I remember her staring off into the distance. That's kind of when I just was like, I looked at her and I was like, what is she thinking? Like, I really want to know her. I really want to get to know her and learn about her. So
how did that happen? How did you get together?
Well, it's kind of crazy because she continued to come to the store. She was studying. There was a table right by the bar where I was making drinks, and we just had little conversations here and there, and I remember it was one night, and this wasn't planned at all. I was getting ready to leave for the night, leave work, and she packed her stuff up about the same time that I was leaving. And I wasn't planning on asking her out, but we ended up walking out the door at the same time. And I'm not usually the type of person that can just approach somebody like this, but it just kind of came out. I said, "Hey, you want to hang out sometime?" And she said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, well, that wasn't too bad." So that's how that happened.
Okay, so then how long were you dating then before you got married?
Oh wow, it was a while. About 7 years we dated. So. She was pretty young. I was pretty young when we met. We dated for about 7 years, and I joined the Army, so we were apart for a while.
And then how would you describe your relationship at the beginning?
It was great. I mean, I feel like it's kind of that initial, you're getting to know each other, everything's new, exciting. We hung out a lot. We did a lot together. It was just really easy to talk with her. We didn't necessarily have to be entertaining each other by paying and going to do something. It was good just to be able to talk with her.
Right. So at some point during your marriage, then things started to take a turn for the worse. So what happened?
So I think it was a combination of a couple things. There was some stuff initially when we got married that came to the surface that I had done prior to us getting married that I hid from her. So there was some dishonesty there. And that came out actually not right after we got married. And we started to work through that. So that definitely I feel like handicapped our marriage, if that lack of a better term. So I think some other things that happen down the road, we just kind of got into a routine, and things, you stop really trying to, do things to keep it exciting. And I didn't realize that was going on. And then I was in the Army. I was gone a lot for training. I feel like that kind of grew us apart as well, because I wasn't there as much as I wanted to be. All this had just come to the surface, like I was telling you before, but I was gone all the time in the field training, and, and then I was deployed for a few months. She was pregnant that whole time. And so when I got back, it was just, we had a baby a couple days later, and, so we didn't really get a lot of time to reconnect. And I almost felt like I was coming back to a routine I'd been in for, months on end, to where to a home where she had been in a routine. And like I almost felt like I was getting in the way in some ways. Maybe it was just my own mind thinking that, but I feel like I said before, we got into a routine, and I really feel like that's between the time apart and the routine, and not realizing things that I was doing that were right in front of my face. It's like when I open up the fridge and the milk's right in front of my face and I can't find it. Like that's, there was things that she was telling me that I don't know what was wrong with me. It's not like I didn't want to have a good marriage. It's just that I didn't see them, even though she would tell me things. And so, I feel like we grew apart between that, just all of that I just said. And eventually it led to some other things in our marriage. And, that's when I started to look for help. So.
I mean, it's a lot of pressure, like you say, being away, her being pregnant by herself, then you come in back home and having a new baby. I mean, that's a ton of pressure and a ton of stress onto a relationship. So it sounded like at that time then she was trying to communicate that to you, but maybe, like you said, it was difficult for you to hear what she was saying or really know what to do differently.
Right. And I think part of it was I looked at it as I'm going to work, I'm providing a roof, I'm providing food. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I was completely missing that she needed that connection. That's what she would bring up. And I was like, what does connection mean? Like, we're talking, like, what does connection mean? And I think eventually I just kind of gave up. I'd come home from work and, I would just kind of decompress and just not really talk, and just I give her a hug and that was about it, and it was just, she wanted to connect, and I felt like I was doing everything I could be doing when I really wasn't. The answers were right in front of me, and she would tell me that, but I needed to be a better listener, I guess.
So what would you do? What would you have done differently had you been the person that you are now back there?
Be a better listener. Ask more questions, like, hey, what does that mean? Can you help me understand what you're saying? I think I would have gotten the right help earlier. We did try counseling. That didn't go great. I definitely think that, or I wish I would have found marriage helper years ago, even before we got married. Like, I feel like there's a lot of, things that people don't really see that help. I wish I would have found that a long time ago. So yeah, I mean, I would have been a better listener. I would have helped her out more. I would have, switched up our routine. That was the big thing, to make her still feel cared for and loved. So yeah.
That's some great insight there. Something that I'm sure a lot of listeners could identify with. Okay, so then how did you find Marriage Helper? You got to the point where you're like, okay, we need help now. Our marriage is on the rocks. So how did you find us?
Well, so beginning of, what was it, 2021, it was actually in November, December timeframe. I just started to have this realization of like, I need to be a better husband. Like I need to, I could tell my wife wasn't happy and I needed to do something about it. I needed to make her feel, like I loved her very much and I felt like I was doing everything that I could. I needed to help her feel that. So I was like, I wrote her a letter, basically saying this year I'm committing to, be a better husband and, I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. I want to, just do better in general to make this marriage better. And I just basically explained there's a lot of things I realized about myself. It was around that time that some other stuff happened, that, almost ended things with our marriage. I didn't want things to end. So I went on YouTube. I remember I was at the gym and I was just feeling at rock bottom, like where you don't want to do anything. And I forced myself to go to the gym. I was like, I need to do something. And it was one of Dr. Beam's videos popped up on my, when I searched, popped up on my, I don't remember what exactly I searched, but popped up on the list there. And so I listened to that, and that was just kind of a chain. It's like, oh, this is interesting. This is a new perspective. This isn't something, I've thought about before. So I just continued to listen to the videos, and then eventually I got into the podcast, and that's how I found the workshop.
Right. So you found us on YouTube, loads of great resources on there, and then you found Relationship Radio, this amazing podcast that thousands of people listen to each week. So part of this, then, one of the episodes, you learned more about the couples turnaround workshop that we host. And what was it that you heard that made you think this was for you, your situation?
Well, I think it was kind of like a final straw. We had tried the counseling, like I mentioned before. I think when they talked about the 70% marriages survive after the workshop, that's what really, I was like, all right, I'll take it. It was definitely worth every penny. It was just that it just, I felt kind of drained. I didn't know what else to do. I felt like I had tried everything in my own power that I could do. And, this was kind of the last straw, and I hope to be in that 70% that make it. So.
Right. And so how long ago was it that you came to our workshop?
It was actually a few months ago. It was end of July last year, 2021. We ended up going.
Okay. So talk to me about your experience then. Well, I suppose how was your wife's attitude to you approaching her about the workshop? Was she excited to go or apprehensive?
Initially, I brought it up to her and she didn't really seem that interested. And then it turned into, I'll think about it. And then, I waited a couple months later, and then another big event happened. And that's when that's when she agreed to go. She's like, all right, I'll go to the workshop. So, it just took, I think, some big realizations to finally convince her to go. So
you persuaded her to go. So let's say she came along reluctantly. And did you attend in person in Tennessee, or you did the online?
I wanted to go in person, but we ended up going online.
And how was it? So, talk to me about your experience. Like, how did it feel starting off on day one together?
Yeah, I just remember I was excited because I wanted things to work, and so I felt like this was going to be a big step. I I just remember the night before I went to the store, I was trying to find a cable to hook the computer to the TV, and I was trying to troubleshoot it at this Airbnb, and just feeling really anxious. My hands were shaking.
And what was that
But
about? What was the anxiety about, do you think?
I think I was just I was just really wanted to start. I was just like, let's start before, if in case she changes her mind. Like, I didn't think she was going to, but I think it was just kind of a mix of, you know, it had been so heavy the last few months that I felt like this was going to be a refreshing almost. And, I know it's going to be a lot of stuff that was going to have to tough conversations, but I just felt like it was, like I said, just going to be a different perspective and refreshing, and just, I guess, hope. It wasn't so much like out of fear. It was just like, I want to start, right? And, yeah, yeah, leading up to, I remember, we got there and had the workbooks printed off and everything. And, I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I had heard a lot of people, that had been to the workshop talk about it, and, I heard their experiences, but I was trying to keep an open mind. I didn't want to have like this tunnel vision of, the end goal of what I wanted. I wanted to just soak it in. So yeah, when it started, I think I was a little bit nervous beforehand, but after it started, I felt pretty calm. And, just seeing other people there and knowing that, like, okay, I'm not the only one in this boat. There's other people probably in the same situation. Who knows? But, it just, that was comforting to see. Not so much that I wish other people had issues, but more like there's someone out there, going through this, and other people have made it. And even if things don't work out, they'll be fine, so.
And so, what was your wife's reaction? Like you said, she was coming reluctantly after you talked to her a few times and persuaded her to come along. How did she kind of respond?
Uh, she actually responded great. She would actually went along with it. And then when we got there, she was open-minded. She participated, and, she was just, I'm trying to, more quiet and just not really, she didn't seem upset to be there. She actually, she's very smart. So she, got a lot of information out of it. And, so I mean, she seemed okay to be there. When the workshop got there, she seemed like she wanted to do it. So.
And so you mentioned that you'd done counselling before. How would you say that the workshop's different than counselling that you'd done previously?
Definitely the big difference was, when we did counseling before, I think sometimes either spouse will think that the counselor is taking the other person's side, or, and, that can lead to getting upset and not wanting to do it anymore. And, maybe in some cases, some counselors do. But I feel like the big difference between the counseling and the workshop was the workshop really made her feel comfortable, and it made me feel comfortable. And there was no pressure. It was just very, they were very respectful, of everybody, and didn't try to beat anyone over the head, or, yeah, I guess it just helped us go in with a different mindset. It wasn't so much like, all right, we're going to grill you with a bunch of questions right off the bat, and you're going to you answer them so I can figure out what to do. It was just, the interactive side of it was really helpful. The constant, everybody who spoke was great. And the breakout groups were awesome. And because it really helped us to talk, it wasn't so much, hey, we're going to grill you with this. It was like, here's what we want you to do, and you just do it on your own. There's nobody there to interrupt or anything, and you come back and talk about it. So I think that was the big difference, is she didn't feel like, and I didn't feel like that anyone was taking sides. It was more just kind of guiding and really good information.
So where's your marriage at now? Where are you at, a few months on from attending the workshop? How are things going?
We still got work to do. Things are definitely better than they were. We still live together. We talk on the phone every day when I'm at work. I usually get a call from her when I'm at work, which is the best part of my day. I love seeing that call come through. So it's good. I mean, we went out for Valentine's Day. We had a really nice time. It's just, I feel like we've made a lot of goals that we can accomplish together. We made it's called a vision board, and so we put things that we want to accomplish, so I can see what she wants to do, and ways that I can help her achieve those goals, and vice versa. And I feel like we've kind of learned to do things to create that spontaneous side of the relationship. And like I said, we still got a ways to go, but I feel like if we keep working at it the way we are, then it'll be a lot better, and we'll make it. So
That's great. I'm so happy for you guys. So if you were talking to somebody that was back where you were, a few months ago, whose spouse, they're struggling to persuade their spouse to come, have you got any tips for how to do that? How to get your spouse to attend if they really are not sure about it?
I would just ask them, how much do you want your marriage to work, because it's worth every minute, every penny, in my opinion. Like, I wish I could attend every year. There's so much useful information, and it helps you to really look at yourself, and like I said, see things that are right in front of you you may have been missing, and also things that are a little more detailed that you may have been missing. And I would just tell them it's like nothing else I've done before. It definitely was way more helpful than counseling. I'm not saying there aren't good counselors out there, but yeah, I mean, I would just ask them, how much is it worth for you to save your marriage? Because it's definitely worth, putting the time and the finances into it. So definitely worth it.
That's great. Have you done any of our online courses as well as the workshop?
Yeah, I've actually downloaded a few. Before we did the workshop, I was doing the Old Pies course, and then I downloaded the new one, the Art of Attraction, I believe it's called. Yeah, that's it. Just, I guess, that and a couple of the toolkits I've downloaded as well. They were doing like a deal on I think it was around Christmas time, they were doing a deal, and so I bought a few of them. So they've been really helpful.
That's great. Okay, so as we wrap this up, if there's somebody who's really feeling hopeless in their marriage, so at that point where you were at rock bottom when you went to that gym that time ago, what would you say to them right now?
I would say download the the Art of Attraction toolkit, because that is definitely what helped me through this. Like they always say, if you work on yourself in all those areas, the physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, if you improve yourself and work on yourself in all those areas, then you build confidence. And, you know, you can't change the other person, but you can change what you do yourself, like, you know. And you just let them know that's what will help pull you through this. And even if things don't work out, it's, you know, it's going to be hard, but at least you're on the right path, and you're on the right path to being a better person. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're a better person regardless. So I would definitely say that, you know, I would say get the right help as soon as you can. Like I wish I would have known years ago, but yeah, just work on yourself, work on your pies, build that confidence, and build that attraction, and hopefully things will turn around.
That's great. That's excellent advice for everyone out there. Well, thank you so much, Derrick, for joining us today. Really appreciated what you've had to share with you, and it's great to talk to you.
Thank you, Gemma. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Relationship Radio. Please refer to the notes in the description to learn more about any resources mentioned in this episode. Please visit our website at marriagehelper.com for more information about our online courses, marriage workshops, and coaching. We exist to help save marriages and strengthen families. We look forward to interacting with you on the next episode of Relationship Radio.